This is Jed McKay, and you're listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast.
Yes, welcome back, loony listeners. You are listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 245, and you are with your High Priest of KHONSHU, Ray, going solo again. Hello, everybody. And I thought I'd just drop this episode in this week. Originally was planning to have the week off, I guess, due to some, certain circumstances, and just to have a bit of a rest, but I could not let this opportunity slip, so I thought I'd get this one episode in. It's an idle chat, as you can see on the tin, and it's all to do with the Moon Knight pricing guide. So it was, semi-popular when I did release an episode based on current market values for Moon Knight comics, so I thought I'd revisit it again, but also because it's quite relevant to, you'll hear very soon. Basically, before I kick off, a big thank you, of course, to our sponsors, the Patroonies. A huge thank you to each and every one of you. Thanks for keeping the lights on. Thanks for keeping this show chugging along and able to do stuff that I really wouldn't have thought we would have been able to do when we started, around 4 years ago. So a big thanks to Daniel, Drew, Justin, Derek, Kyle, Wayne, Jordan, Josh, James, Anthony, Russell, and Michael. So a big thank you to each and every one, as I mentioned. Of course, we do have some sponsors. Drew Tombz, one of our patroonies, top tier patroonies. His music is available on SoundCloud and on Bandcamp. So you can listen to Drew's music under the tag Tombz on SoundCloud and LURKMUSICK on Bandcamp. Really good stuff, some dance-inspired stuff, some horror and sci-fi soundscapes. Go check it out. Also, Daniel doing another top-tier patroony and his creation Fringe Night. Now, they're releasing their issue 5 very soon, and Daniel's doing some signings, so go check out the Fringe Night website, the Facebook website for that. It's an indie original comic based on Erie, Pennsylvania's very own mysterious superhero. Fantastic stuff from Daniel, who also does cosplay and create the actual costume of Fringe Night. So yeah, I can't laud it enough. It's really cool. Also as well, Dreamland Comics, the superhero superstore from Illinois. As mentioned, it's now available just exclusively online, so go check it out for all your back issue needs. Now also, the impetus, as I was kind of alluding to before, as to why I thought a price guide would be good, is that we have brand new sponsors. Yay! So, just really proud to be associated with them. Collectorz.com, or as you probably see, CLZ Comics. They provide database abilities to create your own database of either comics, like books, movies, Blu-rays, music, all that sort of stuff. It's really good. I think really important for those comic book collectors and Moonies that really like to catalog and keep a record of all of their collection, because it's becoming quite vast, and the majority of variants and such these days. It's good to have an inventory of what you have and to be able to know where things sit. Now, how this connects with this show, with this pricing guide, is that CLZ, or Collectorz, they are in association with a comic valuing, I guess, website, and their name is Go Collect. So you can basically look up the values of your comics, keep an eye on them, and if you're into that sort of thing, see how much your comic or your single issue is worth. So what I thought I'd do today is go through, it's too vast to go through all of the Moon Knight comics. I thought I might as well start from, I was actually going to start on the latest and greatest, but that would be Jed McKay's technically, but then again would have a very short show. So I was planning on going through the Lemire and Bemis run, officially the volume 8 of Moon Knight. and just go through, I guess, notable values there for you. Now, please bear in mind as well, there are two caveats to this. Number one, there has been some technical difficulties with Go Collect. Sorry, I keep on thinking of them as Go Comics, but Go Collect. So their values update pretty much daily, but as of this recording, there's been a bit of a stall in their updates. So these values reflect pretty much late September, so they're about a month out. But from what I hear, they are very shortly going to update their system and re-release updated values. So just keep that in mind. And also as well, the values that I will give now, don't start quitting your job and, selling your car and stuff or whatever, or going on holidays and splurging on massive investments. These values that I will give are based on, number one, they're based on a slabbed version of the comic, because that's what Go Collect base their values on. And it all depends on the grade. So I'm going to go for the, near the top grade. I'm going to go for a 9.8 grading, which is kind of like near mint to find. It's not mint, because I don't want to reach for perfection there. But let's say 9.8. So please take these values with a grain of salt with regards to how good a condition your comic book is, and also the fact that if your comic books are raw as opposed to slabbed. So, but anyway, I still think that this would be a really good indicator of where these valuable comics kind of lie. So, I have got CLZ Comics, the app, on my phone now, and I'm going to go through it. And it's a really great database and a great app. So you can either use CLZ on your desktop, on your laptop or PC, or you can subscribe to get the app, which I think most people get. It's just very handy. You're able to scan barcodes of your weekly floppies as they come in, and they automatically go into the system. You can arrange and sort your inventory, your database with however you like. So for instance, here I've sorted out the Moon Knight Volume 8 by value, so I can go from the top value, onwards. You can do a lot of things with this database, and again, it's really cool. I've actually used the tagging option in the field to tag, because I'm going through my my collection. I've tagged, whether things are bagged or boarded or both. So you can do stuff like that. Also, if you have many long boxes or short boxes, you can mark them with a code, and then you can actually add into the database which storage box a particular comic is. So it makes retrieval for comic books a lot easier, a lot more simple as well. And as I said, with the scanning option, it's really easy to input all the data. You can also as well manually input stuff if you need to. There's that option too. So there's plenty of options to actually input into your database. And it's I don't know, I find it quite fun to just kind of tweak it. And what I also do is when I do make an order or I do purchase something and I'm waiting for it to arrive, you can mark it as on order. So you know what's coming. You can keep a track of, the hundreds of things that you may have ordered that are on its way, and you can tick them off whether they actually have arrived or not. All that sort of stuff to keep you right on top of your collection. So, enough of the patented Ray ramble. We can get straight into it. So, okay, so Volume 8 for Moon Knight. So this is a combination of the Bemis run and the Lemire run. For some reason, because they typically give a new volume for a new writer, right? And there was a little bit of a break between Lemire and Max Bemis, but for some reason they are under the one official volume. So Volume 8 it is. So starting from the top, what I have as the most valuable Moon Knight comic at 9.8 at going in about $525 US. These will be all US dollars. Is the 200 issue 200 variant. Pardon me. Now, this was quite hard, I think, and I think some of them may be one of those either incentive or, there's a ratio comics, which are quite hard to get, and not all LCSs can qualify for it because it all depends on how much they order, that they're able to get these incentive comics. But this one, coming in at the top of $525 is the incentive Bill Sienkiewicz remastered sketch variant cover of issue 200. So you'll probably note it is, from memory, it is one of the splash pages from Moon Knight Volume 1, issue 5, that kind of horror-driven one, and it's Moon Knight on top of a house as he kind of looks down below at some kids. I think you're about to prank the house. That's all in black and white. It's an original Bill Sienkiewicz piece of artwork from Volume 1. So that comes in, 525 buckaroos. I won't go through all the variants because we all know that there are 30-odd thousand gazillion variants out there, but I will mark the ones of note. I'm going through at least the top 10, whether they are variants or not. The second one, which I'm very happy about, because I'm glad to have, have nabbed one when they did come out, is issue 188. So it was the very first issue of the Max Bemis run. It was variant D, and that was the incentive, the Daniel Warren Johnson variant cover. So that comes out at $500 US. And that, for those of you that don't know, that had a picture of Moon Knight. I guess he's kind of stumbling through some flames, and he's got a huge flame or some fire just coming off his back. So that has increased in value. I'm not sure why that one in particular, maybe the number of prints for it, but 500, it comes in at number 2, the second highest of the Volume 8 of Moon Knight. Third, we get, again, it's issue 200 again, but it's variant D as well. And this comes in at $400. This is similar to the top one. It's the Bill Sienkiewicz remastered, but it's a color variant of the cover. So it's a color variant of what I described before, Moon Knight Volume 1, issue 5. That shot of Moon Knight kind of looking down on the kids from the top of a spooky house. So $400, that's pretty good. Yeah. And again, just a reminder, so this is all for slabbed at 9.8 grading. So it, probably a bit less if you got it raw, and if you've got a few ticks down the spine, or some crease marks, or some foxing, which I've heard about, which is that bit where it kind of looks like molding, like you start to get spots on your comics. So anything like that will obviously downgrade the quality or the grade of the comic book. Next up, at 2, there's a bit of a dip there, $240, but still nothing to shy away at. We're looking at issue 1, and it's variant B. So this one, I'm just having a quick look. Yeah, this was issue 1. So this is the Lemire run. But this is the variant Ricardo Lopez Ortiz. This is the Marvel hip hop cover. So this was released April 2016. Yep. So this is the Lemire Smallwood variant. $240. It's a one that you'll see, and having the knowledge and the input now from valued Looney Lena. I just look at the cover. The cover, it says schizophrenic at the top, and it's got Moon Knight, his face just underneath. So again, if we're talking about dispelling myths and understanding of DID, this one very much has missed the mark, but it's still a pretty cool cover, mainly black, and notable as well that the Moon Knight logo is just sparingly, like in some very generic font on the top left. Dare I say it's Arial? I don't know, but it really does make the cover stand out. So that was it. $240 for Moon Knight 1, the B variant. Now we move on again to the next one down the ranks at $230. This is, again, the number one Bemis issue. It's 188. It's variant F. And this is, for all intents, okay, it's $230. I thought it was a lenticular. I don't think it is. It is so it's a famous, not famous, it's the, well-known, you probably would know it, Looney's, the special oversized issue. It pays homage to Moon Knight 25 from Volume 1 with Black Spectre behind Moon Knight. But I think this variant is distinguished with the blue Moon Knight logo as opposed to the white one. And it's a second printing, actually. There you go. It's actually the second printing of 188 that it has shot up. Yeah. So I'm assuming that is just straight out second printing of 188. So $230 there. It just pays if you do, if you are into these values, it does pay to look at your second and third printings. So there you go. $230 for that one. Moving on, we go down to, again, Moon Knight 195. So this is the variant Deadpool Virgin cover. So, so this is the Virgin cover. So this is without the titles or anything like that. Damn, I thought I had this one, but I don't have the Virgin cover. This is $200. And again, just for those that want a description, it's kind of like Moon Knight. He's being held back by some zombies or something, it seems. So it says here Becky Cloonan as the cover artist. I'm not too sure that was Becky Cloonan. I have a feeling that might be Greg Smallwood. But anyway, there you go. Yep. So that's $200. A bit dubious about that. Anyway, $200 for that one. The Virgin cover of the variant Deadpool. So what are we up to now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So coming in at the 7th highest is, I'm sure a lot of you have it, is issue 1 of Moon Knight by Jeff Lemire, Greg Smallwood, just the regular edition. And that comes in at $140. So they might be hard to come by these days. I've seen them floating around potentially. I think seen some of them in some Facebook marketplaces and I think on eBay. But yeah, I mean, $140 for a slabbed 9.8. It's jumping up there in price. And below that as well, not too far off at $120, is the Bemis issue 1, which is 188A, which was when they changed the numbering, the whole legacy thing. So part 1 of Crazy Runs in the Family. The cover with Moon Knight kind of holding onto a water tower with the eye of the Sun King or Amun-Ra. It's pretty much Amun-Ra's eye, I think, looking at him, a blazing eye. So $120. So that's not long ago. That was November 2017. Okay, and there's a fair few here. We also have, again, it jumps up to the 200th issue, so the last issue of Max Bemis, but it's a variant B cover. This is $110 US, and it's the Kevin Nolan variant cover. So a bit hard to describe. Moon Knight's just jumping off a rooftop. His cape is flowing down. Yeah. Anyway, Kevin Nolan, check out that. Again, that's for the last issue. I don't think I picked up that one, which is a shame. Anyway, there you go. Also, as well, next up we have Moon Knight issue 1, but it's the C variant. That comes at $100. That's a Marco Rudy variant. So this is a little bit more distinguishable. Welcome to New Egypt Part 1. Moon Knight, the logo's in red. There's Moon Knight. He's kind of covered in bed sheets, but he's shouting and he's trying to rip it off, and he's got blood here and there. So yeah, that's $100. That's again, number 1 from Jeff Lemire and Greg Smallwood. That cover. So you can see a lot of variants obviously garner a lot of value, or they rise in value, particularly if they are, I guess, incentives or is that what you call them? Incentives, the ones that are ratioed, 1 to 100, whatever. I mean, that would be quite expensive. Here's one so now we've dropped past the triple figures, so it's down to 85 US, which is still pretty good. This is, again, issue 200. Again, it's a variant. It's the David Finch variant of that 200th issue. So that's a good one. You probably note that this is the cover to the alternate cover to the Omnibus Volume 1, the David Finch one. So 85 there. Again, issue 200. We've got a run of issue 200s here. So the next one down, again, $85. It's the F variant of Moon Knight, another $85. It's the scan variant. To be honest, I don't think I've ever seen this one. I didn't really pay much attention to the 200th issue variants. Sometimes there were just too many. But this is a good one. This is it's got Moon Knight on top of what looks like an old Incan. Oh no, I'd say it's an Egyptian one. It looks like Horus, the eagle face, I think. Yes, well, that could even be Ra. I'm not too sure. But Moon Knight is on top of this giant statue. So that's a scan variant 85. Also, as well, dipping down a little bit to 80 as the 200th. I know I got this one. This is the incentive Philip Tan variant cover. So $80. That's pretty good. Pretty cool investment. And then we go to another 80. Oh, there's a few $80 here. $80, the issue 189, the regular edition. So that's part 2, obviously, of Bemis's run. I think it introduces the truth. And also, at $80 coming in is the variant to issue 14, the last of Jeff Lemire's run. And this is the Pasquale Ferry variant cover. So most notably, it has kind of like a violet colour. Predominantly on the cover. So $80, that's pretty cool. I picked up that one, that was good. And then it drops down to $65, and this is just your standard 200 issue of Moon Knight by Max Bemis, and again, a little bit of a proud name drop. That is where you can see the High Priest of Khonshu there, so Rebecca, Connor, and myself, gracious enough for Max Bemis to include us in there, as well as all of you guys, all the loonies. He actually pays homage to all the loonies by having like a loony army, for those that have not read 200. If you haven't, go check it out, just for that. So that's at 65. Down to $60 now. There's a couple here, and they are both from the Jeff Lemire run. The first one is issue 6, variant C. It's a classic, it's an incentive classic variant cover. For me, it looks like cover artist. It says Bob Hall. Okay, I got vibes of Mark Bagley, but so $60 is pretty good. And another one, issue 1 again, but it's a D variant. It's a John Tyler Christopher action figure cover, and it has Mr. Knight on there. So again, $60, pretty cool. As we move on, $50. Now again, this is another printing, the third printing of issue 1 of the Greg Smallwood and Jeff Lemire run. So notably, the logo of Moon Knight and issue 1, number 1, is coloured green, but it still has the typical cover of Mark Spector in a straitjacket and with the rags on his face. $50 there for the third printing. So the next one we have here, yes, is a very familiar one. It's Moon Knight. It's a 188. It's the variant lenticular homage cover. So it's a lenticular cover. I'm sure some of you know with the Bill Sienkiewicz cover of Black Spectre and Moon Knight. So this had that really flashy 90-esque gimmick cover. That's gone up to $44 as well, so that's pretty cool. And sticking to $44, the second printing of Moon Knight 1 by Lemire and Smallwood. Most notably, again, the font and the lettering is in blue, with Moon Knight in the straitjacket at $44. Then we go, haven't got too much left now actually, then we go down to $42, This is 188 again, the Max Bemis. This is variant E. So it is the John Tyler Christopher trading card cover. So, as mentioned, he did one for Jeff Lemire and Greg Smallwood, their run with the action figure. This is just the trading card cover. $42, which is pretty cool. I think I got that one too. That's good. And now, it seems like it's been a while since we've had just like regular, like non-variants. $40 for Jeff Lemire, Greg Smallwood's issue 3. So that has like a zombie in bandages just screaming. So that's racked up $40. Then we go, these are just regular issues. Then we go to issue 198 of the Bemis run at $32. So that's the one with Moon Knight, and in the background it's almost like a maze behind him. You could argue maybe brain-like, more of a maze. And then $30 is issue 194. That has the cover by, it's Becky Cloonan, I think it says as well. Yeah, but the interior art by Ty Templeton. This was the one that explored Mark's childhood and DID and his father and the implications of meeting up with Uncle Ernst. A pretty heavy issue, that one. Issue 199, the penultimate to Bemis's run, $24. That's got like a Cthulhu type creature behind a bridge and Moon Knight in the foreground. And a couple more here. Issue 13 from the Bemis run, the second last one, again, the penultimate issue, $22. Bushman's face just there. And this is the one I have. And rounding out the values so far, it's Moon Knight issue 195B. It's a variant. It's a Greg Smallwood Deadpool cover. So this is the one that I do have. It's at $16. It's not the Virgin cover, which was a lot more. But this one rounds out actually the current valued comics from volume 8. So all the others that I have here that have been graded, they do not have a value set upon them. Like I said, this Go Collect unfortunately had stalled late September. They've had some technical glitch, so hopefully that's been rectified. And some of these values may reflect differently after that, as well as some of the issues that I haven't mentioned may, of course, be now input into the system. So there you go, loonies. That is our price guide for Volume 8. Now, I'm hoping to sporadically add in other volumes, because I'm sure you may be interested. But do yourself a favour. Go check out, I think you can trial it. Go check out CLZ or Collectorz.com. CLZ Comics, and just for a very small amount per month, I think it equates to maybe $1.50 US a month. You can grab the app and you can have it on your phone. You can start building your database. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to, in future episodes, just cover some of the other volumes and maybe some other noteworthy Moon Knight appearances. So yeah. I might take a short break now, and when I come back, just wrap up the show just with a little bit of news, like there's not much, and for what lies ahead in the coming episodes. So catch you then.
Hey there everyone, I'd like to tell you about the YouTube channel I Am Your Target Demographic. If you're a fan of comics, we have plenty that you'll enjoy over there, including a series called Heroes Like Us that explores comic characters of all sorts of different identities. And we even have a series that defines words that are used in nerd culture that you may not know what they mean. So you can check us out by heading to YouTube and searching I Am Your Target Demographic, or look up IAYTD on any social media outlet.
Yes, welcome back, loony listeners. You are listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 245. You're with Ray. Hello, and as mentioned at the end of that, the other side of that break, that was our price guide for Moon Knight Volume 8. Hopefully we'll do a few more, when we can fit them in. In a bit of a reverse kind of order now, just going through a little bit of white noise before we cap off the show. look, there not too much by way of news. One bit here I got, thanks to High Priest of KHONSHU Rebecca, solicits for Moon Knight 7, so by Jed McKay. We have art by Federico Sabatini, so Alessandro Cappuccio has got the day off in this issue, and the cover by Corey Smith, and there's a variant cover by Raza as well. So it looks pretty cool. Again, we're shooting way in front of what we know so far. We're only up to, issue 3? Issue 4 coming out next week. But issue 7, I'm assuming it's the new arc. It says, how do you fight someone that no one knows? Moon Knight is out for blood and hits the streets armed only with a name, but he soon finds out that in the twilight half-world of New York supervillainy, sometimes the street hits back. And while he's fighting his way through the supercrime underworld, he'd better watch his back. So yeah, and it's got a nice cover actually of Mr. Knight. He's surrounded by villains. It looks like he's actually in the bar with no name, the villain bar. And you've got Paste Pot Pete there, you've got Electro. Again, very spider-centric here. I wonder, Jack-O-Lantern. You have Man Bull as well. And a few others. It looks like the Wrecker in the foreground, just from the crowbar, and Moon Knight right in the middle of it. So yeah, very exciting stuff. We'll see what what unfolds there. But as mentioned, we've got to see what happens in the first arc as well. Looking forward to Tigra and Moon Knight teaming up in issue 4. Right, well, apart from that, some night lines. I am just going to shift across. I'm doing this all on the phone. Isn't that professional, Ray? And we did get a comment on the Instagram based on our previous episode, 244, where Justin and I reviewed Marvel Fanfare 39. And this is a comment from Make Mine Moon Knight on Instagram. And he says, it was alright, I enjoyed it, but not a favourite. Like the fanfare feature where he deals with the Earth elemental spirit. It has its moments. But overall, they don't really rank high for me. This issue of fanfare was sitting in one of my old LCSs for years, and because I'm not that into Hawkeye and the front cover isn't one of my favourites, I never bothered with it. Then I saw it was the same issue from a list of Moon Knight appearances for fanfare, so I finally picked it up and then was surprised with the awesome back cover featuring Moon Knight. Yeah, with the like the burlesque kind of lights and the city lights. That's how I keep it bagged too. Back cover shown off. Yeah, thank you, Make My Moon Knight. I would expect no less from any loonies. That is the front cover, let's face it, for any Moon Knight fan. But thank you so much for your thoughts. Yeah, I mean, it was a small story, a short story. It's really not going to leave a lasting imprint on the minds, especially with that brevity. But, I thought it was a fun one, but I agree with you. It was an average tale, but I'm glad I read it, I guess. That, I think, would wrap up the comments. I'm just going to have a quick, if you bear with me, loonies. Got a bit of Thundercats happening there. If you bear with me, I might just quickly have a look here. Actually, I wouldn't mind reading this out. This is quite something from Lena, one of our loonies, and they write in. For those that don't know, Lena's part of a DID system. We have a few loonies who are parts of DID systems, and Lena writes in a pretty cool thought. So they go, "Hey loonies, Lena here again. I just wanted to share something I've been thinking about that isn't really directly Moonlight related, but sort of tangentially. I was listening to an older episode of ITK earlier today, and Ray and Anthony Sitko were talking about the, at the time recently announced, casting of Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk. Anthony was saying that he hadn't seen her previous show Orphan Black, and Ray had only seen part of it. That got me thinking about that show again, so I thought I would share my take on it. Sort of kind of spoilers for Orphan Black ahead. I still haven't watched all of the final season, but I've seen most of the series, and I find it amazing how much the relationships of the clone sisters on the show remind me of a DID system. The shock of finding out their life was a lie, they weren't normal people, they were clones. This felt very much like the shock that Doug and I felt when we first discovered that we had more than one identity in our body. Having to keep the fact that there were clones a secret from all but a few trusted friends and family, having to sometimes impersonate each other, again, these are things that we, as a DID system, can definitely relate to. The entire series felt like DID turned inside out, multiple copies of one body rather than multiple identities within one body. The clone sisters sometimes disagreed with each other, but yet had a closeness that was somehow different than any other friend or family relationship. I can't fully explain it, but somehow that show felt like it captured the experience of being part of a DID system better than any other shows and movies that are actually about DID. So that's my 2 cents on that. Feel free to comment if you want to discuss more about it. Thank you so much there, Lena. Interesting. I really want to go back and finish Orphan Black, but you make very interesting comparisons between DID and the clones. So yeah, Loonies, let us know what you think from Lena's comments. Have you seen it as well? What do you think of Orphan Black? Do you see any correlation, or how do you see the clones portrayed, similar to DID in that regards? Finally, look, I'm just going to have a look here on YouTube, and here we go. We've got one again from CMK7 Beep Boop Beep Boop Boop. Thank you, Chris. And this is on our previous episode 244, again on Marvel Fanfare 39. And Chris says, well, blimey, I had no idea this Moon Knight story even existed, although the story and this gimmick seem somehow familiar to me. Anyway, amazing coverage as usual, bringing the attention to this tucked away Moon Knight appearance in the pages of Marvel Fanfare. Thank you very much, Chris, and I know you are a huge fan of Justin and his bourbon voice. So yeah, Justin and I had so much fun chatting about that issue. Also, as well, CMK7 sent in some comments on episode 243, which was about unsung Moon Knight artists. Again, Justin and I covered some artists that we thought were really cool that don't get enough praise because, let's face it, there are plenty of really cool Moon Knight artists. Anyway, CMK7, aka Chris, says, great job bringing attention to these less talked about Moon Knight artists. Fantastic picks. I had to Google a few of the names, but soon as I saw their work, the fond memories of their respective runs came flooding back. I agree, Sal Velluto's and Chris Warner's art on Moon Knight, I feel, is criminally underrated. Also underrated, yes, Inhumanoids. I love that show as a kid. Thank you so much, Chris. It seems that Justin has hit a sweet spot there for you with Inhumanoids. Unfortunately, I can't remember that show. It may have passed me by, but I'm glad that you enjoyed it. So thank you so much, Chris. A quick scour here to see if there were any other ones. No, I think that is about it. Hang on. There is episode 242. This was Justin and I's review on the Punisher Annual number 2. And CMK7 Chris, yes, he's in again, and he says, great and fun review of this classic issue. As wise as owls are supposed to be, which is certainly true in Justin's case, Ray proved to be the wise one this time in making Justin the owl read the bare bones with those velvety pipes. My ears are in your debt. I always enjoy these crossovers with Frank Castle, and since it happens fairly regularly, when do you think the next one will be? Unless there has been one recently that I'm not aware of. Yeah, that's an interesting question, Chris. The last one I can think of was from the Matt Rosenberg Punisher series, which has been, I guess, shown a lot around on social media. It's really just with Frank and Mark looking each other dead in the eye and exchanging sledges. Mark saying, yeah, how's a dead family? And Frank going, yeah, how's that God going for you? That sort of stuff. So huge animosity between the two. As for when the next one will be, I can't tell. I'm hoping there'd be like a new Punisher series. There hasn't been one for a while. And having said that, though, I didn't read all of the Rosenberg run. I read most of it. So, I don't know. Maybe... I don't think we'll see one in the Jed MacKay run, although anything's possible. I mean, he's mentioned they've written up to 12, and touch wood, they get a few more arcs under their belt. But, yeah, potentially Jed MacKay's. Other than that, I'm going to predict whenever there's another Punisher series out, because Moon Knight will have had the TV show, his profile would have been upped, and I reckon to boost the Punisher sales as well, they'll probably get Moon Knight in there because his profile has lifted, let's face it. Anyway, that is about it from all sorts of feedback and news. Thank you so much, everyone, for dropping in some lines. Please, as mentioned, look, it's never too late. We do record some of these episodes a bit earlier on, so we don't get your comments in until after we record the reviews, but it's so fun to hear from you still and to be able to read them out in like future episodes that come in after those reviews. So please keep them coming. We really enjoy them a lot. Well, that pretty much wraps it for this episode. Thank you so much. I hope you found it useful, the price guides. Let us know what you think. Do you want more of them? If they are, are they worth listening to? Or, if it's like listening to an accountant. If it's as dry as watching paint dry, let us know as well. Always keen to chop and change and improve the show in any way we can. As mentioned, please consider becoming a Patreon member. You can all see all the details on patreon.com/ITKMoonKnight. We have bonus episodes coming out every month. This month I had a discussion with Phil from Capes and Lunatics, and we did Moon Knight number ones. We went through all the number ones from Moon Knight from 1975 onwards. Also, as mentioned at the top of the show, a big thank you to CLZ or Collectorz.com. Go check out CLZ Comics or join their Facebook group. Just check out CLZ Comics on Facebook. Just search that and you can find them. And also just check out the website Collectorz.com. Fantastic stuff. Get your comics in order. Get your trades in order. You can actually create any collections you want. So I've got two. I've got my digital collection and I've got my regular collection. And I might even separate my trays and omnis now from my floppies. But, the sky's the limit. It's up to you. Also as well, Fringe Night. If you can support Daniel at patreon.com/FringeNight27. Again, his issue 5 is coming out soon. There's a lot of bonus incentives as well. Free art, behind the scenes looks, stuff like that. So go check out Fringe Night. And Drew Tombz. So Tombz with a Z, on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Tombz. Is where Drew produces a lot of dance music. Go check it out, and you can support him there. Also, you can purchase some of his music as LURKMUSICK, LURKMUSICK with a CK, and that's at lurkmusic.bandcamp.com. So you can buy his discography. It's fantastic. I heard from Drew that they're in the studio again. They're recording and creating more music. Can't wait to hear that, and can't wait to have Drew back on the show whenever we can make that work, hopefully. And Dreamland Comics, as mentioned, it's online, but if you use the code MOON, you'll get 20% off all their stores. So great sponsors, very appreciative from ITK, from us over here, but please go check them all out, listeners. Finally, we are part of the Collective. You've probably heard this before. There's a whole heap of podcasts, all similar-minded. We like to talk about comic book characters or comic books or geek culture, comic news, that sort of thing. Go check it out. I'm going to give a couple of shout outs to, I will say Happiness in Darkness again. It's a superhero comic book movie podcast, all reviewing movies based on comic books, as well as I'll go for DCAU, the DC Animated Universe podcast, hosted by Alan and One High Priest Rebecca. Definitely worth checking out. Also as well, there's been a rebranding of Capes and Lunatics. Go check out all their stuff. Capes and Lunatics is now Marvel, and Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks is now all exclusively DC. Take your pick. Finally, you can email us at feedback@itkmoonnight.com. We've got a website, itkmoonnight.com, and we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, Get Vocal, all that pizzazz. I do want to say, if you do want to leave a review, please do so on Podchaser or Apple Podcasts. That really just helps us get out there a bit more. And come on, let's get the ball rolling. With the show coming out soon, with an awesome comic book series out at the moment. It'd be great to meet and greet more Moony loonies out there. And hopefully they can be directed towards the show. Because we are fully dedicated to, broadcasting anything Moon Knight related. Having said that, loonies, thank you once again, as always, and hope to see you next week. Oh yeah, next phase. We'll be doing an Understanding DID Part 3 with High Priestess KHONSHU Rebecca returning, and we've got another article from Lena, so can't wait to go through that, and to learn more about DID, and learn a bit more about your Moon Knight. But until then, as always, may KHONSHU watch over the denizens of the night. Catch you later.
Moon Knight and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Materials used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information, or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.